Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we're talking about a comment that somebody left me recently on Instagram. And essentially, the comment went something like, "Hi, Jax. We're going to call this person Brandon. My name is Brandon. I'm 25 years old, and I'm so sick of being gay." So the title of this video is called Leaving the Gay Community. And this doesn't mean that you are going to go off and marry some girl and live a double life. That's not what I'm advocating. That's not what we're talking about. But in his message, Brandon basically expressed in a lot of detail his frustrations dating, his difficulties with the gay community, his anger at depictions of being gay in movies and television, his frustration with gay celebrities and how they act. And before anyone starts yelling internalized homophobia or that this Brandon person is just a self-hating jerk or whatever, I have to say that I relate to a lot of what he said, and that I relate to a lot of the frustrations that we have in the gay community about how we're depicted, how we're supposed to act, how a lot of us do act, dating, online dating, people cheating, frustrations about it, all kinds of like abuses and difficulties, historical treatment of us, fighting for rights, losing rights. I have to say that I can see exactly where he's coming from. And I think it's a good topic of discussion for any gay person, no matter how you identify. If you identify as something other than straight, I think there's a lot to be said for the frustration that a lot of us have and the difficulty a lot of us have in navigating how intricate and difficult and at times completely annoying and ridiculous the circumstances we find ourselves in and the struggles we have. Which leads me to the title of this video and basically a discussion on, is it possible to leave the gay community behind? Brandon basically said that he was going to stop dating, stop interacting, stop identifying as queer, as gay. And I'm not here to cast a judgment whether he's right or whether he's wrong on what he's saying. What I'm going to do is discuss these things and basically figure out, A, is it possible to leave the gay community, as Brandon said in his message, whether that's a good thing, whether you can live a good life by doing that, and what it means for us as a community. And I use that word lightly because that doesn't actually exist. Like, the gay community as we talk about it doesn't really exist. It is a group filled with individuals who have completely different life experiences, completely different opinions and interests and likes, and we all look completely different. We come from different parts of the world, some places where it's accepted to be gay, some places where it's not. So it raises a lot of confusion when people talk about us like we are some unified group that think all the same way and that identify in the same situation. Because every single gay person I have ever met has wildly different opinions on everything from politics to economy to ways of life to what's acceptable to what's not to taboos. Everyone is so different, and I think that's a pretty big obvious factor. But we talk about the gay community like it's this unified thing that we all understand and we all go to weekly meetings. And no, I've never been to a weekly meeting. So if you guys are having them and not telling me, that's really rude, and I'm offended. But in all honesty, I have to say I share some of the frustrations that Brandon shares, because, boy, there have been moments in my life where I have absolutely hated being a part of this, being attached or ascribed to this community or lumped into this group. And there's been times where I've been really proud and happy to be a part of it. I mean, we have Pride every month for a reason, and it's not some guilty sin or some uprooting of society. Usually it's just a party with people who want to celebrate who they are, and I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. So is it possible to leave the gay community? Yes and no. It's not possible to change who you are. And I think we've hammered this debate out so many times. Can you change? Can you choose to be gay? And I honestly don't think so. I think a lot of us go through our teenage years trying to grapple with this question and figure out, is it possible? Could I settle down with a woman and have kids and live a successful life and really love who I am? And I don't think so. I think I've spent enough years questioning that to be able to say, no, you can't change who you are and how you feel about people and your relationships. So I think in that factor, no, it's not possible to leave that community. However, the far more interesting question, in my opinion, is it possible to just remove yourself from the gay community as it stands? So getting away from the online stuff, yeah, absolutely. You can get rid of that stuff. You can choose to completely get off of social media entirely, or you can choose to block and mute anything to do with gay stuff that you find problematic or difficult, any things that you find too stereotypical or that you watch and you just get annoyed with. I've definitely done that. I think we all have. And it is absolutely possible to remove yourself from those kinds of things. You don't have to go to Pride. You don't have to go to gay bars and clubs. You don't have to associate with people that you don't share close opinions and relationships with. That's absolutely possible. So in one way, no, you can't leave the gay community. You're stuck here till the end. And in other ways, absolutely, you can choose to get rid of anything problematic. And that goes for anything far beyond just being gay. If you really don't like a certain topic or a certain group of people, you never have to see them again. You have free will in that case, and you have self-autonomy. You can choose to disassociate and remove yourself from situations that just aren't the vibe. And most people will just let you do that, and you won't really have any backlash or anything to deal with. Is that necessarily the most healthy, the most worldly and understanding view? No, but you're not Gandhi. You don't have to be. If you really decide that a specific factor in your life is causing you unhappiness and discomfort, and you hate being stereotyped and you hate dealing with XYZ, you get to choose. And I'm sorry, that's just true. I know a lot of very left-wing people are probably going to say something like, well, some of us don't pass as being straight and some of us don't do blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and I understand that. But if there is a factor about yourself or about something, the community, the world in general, that you really disagree with, you have the autonomy to move, change, block, remove, and live your life on your terms. And if you reject that, I have nothing to say to you. If you reject the idea that we have some modicum of free will and choice in this world, you might as well go away, because I don't know why you're even watching YouTube videos. Because if you don't have a choice in life, sorry, your life must be really, really unsatisfying and really difficult. So apologies for that. But so I don't want to give any hate to Brandon. I totally get the view. I totally get the opinion. I have taken steps in my own life to do exactly what he said and remove toxicity and difficulty from my life where I see it and where it's really just as easy as clicking a button that says block. So I find the conversation very interesting, and I think a lot of young gay men specifically deal with this problem, with disliking how they see themselves represented in media and celebrities and all of it. So my best advice is to do what you feel is natural, and don't let people tell you have to live one way or the other, or tell you that to be a good gay guy you have to support this, or oh, you're gay and you support this? How could you? That's so insufferable and intolerant, blah, 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 blah. You have to vote this way. You have to do this. You really don't. You really get to choose what you want. And it might take some discipline in order to essentially keep your mouth quiet when people are talking about an issue that you feel very opposite about, and you're the only person in the room that has this view. It can be really difficult to just stay quiet and avoid and ignore. But sometimes that's what you have to do in order to avoid those situations and those things. And when it comes to dating and relationships, this is the real difficult part, because it's hard to leave the community that you're hoping to find a partner from. All I can advocate is that you try and find somebody who has similar views to you, that has the same kinds of frustration you do with the gay community as a whole, and maybe try and build a life that is alternative and that is on your terms. But I have to say, it's going to be an uphill battle. You're going to have a difficult time finding somebody who shares your specific views on the gay community. The standard view is that the gay community is great, the gay community is healthy, the gay community is supportive and encouraging and promoting, and it's developing gay rights and the whole advocacy line. You're gonna have a hard time finding someone who disagrees with that, but they're definitely out there. You are never the only person with the opinion that you have, even though your life experience is incredibly unique. You're always gonna find people who have the same view as you. So attempt to find people who share your views and your like-minded opinion, and hopefully you're able to build a life that is outside of the stereotype, outside of the prejudice and the frustration that you have in the community. So I share a lot of your views. I disagree with some of them. Essentially, you have to live life on your terms, and I understand. I get it. And I think a lot of people will get it. And you could probably just look down in the comments and you will find people who staunchly agree, staunchly disagree, who are sharing their frustrations with what it means to be gay. And, it's frustrating, when you talk to somebody you've never met and they find out you're gay, and then they just assume you think this, or you understand this, or you know this thing, or you've watched this show. It's a bit exhausting, and it gets very repetitive and difficult. But it's even more frustrating because it's a situation that is unique to our community. It is unique in that we are prejudiced in a very specific way, and we are stigmatized and stereotyped in a very specific way that most gay men will understand. And it's hard when the people who you think will understand you the best seem to understand you the least and seem to get it even worse than other people. So that's really all I've got for you. If you want to leave the gay community, the door is always open. If you want to come in, the door is always open. And you can either choose to try and change what people are saying, become an advocate for your views and for the opinions and perspectives that you have, or peace out, live a beautiful life. Don't let the haters get to you. Don't let them keep you down, and pursue a life that you want on your terms. That's really all we can do. Gay, straight, elephant, or bumblebee, we all have to pursue life on our terms and do what we feel is natural and best for us. Let me know what you guys think. It's an interesting conversation. Let me know down below. And as always, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.